Now, SBA typically likes facilities that are income producing properties, which is the next one, right? Income producing, right? Typically, they want an income producing property, right? So you know now that SBA is going to loan on an income producing property or a mismanaged facility. With a mismanaged facility, they want to have proof of income. So if it was like mismanaged in, if it was like, so for instance, like one of my students bought a facility in Texas where it was a brand new facility that was like just done, and the owner built it and then he sold it off. And when my student bought it, there was no income, right? So that's not really like per se a mismanaged facility, but it's a facility that doesn't have any income, right? So if your facility does not have income, then it's hard to go to a bank and get a loan. All right, it's hard to get a loan because in the commercial real estate world, everything is based off of income. That's what the banks want to see. They want to see how much income is that facility producing. Okay, if it's not producing any facility, if there's any income, if there's no cash flow, then essentially they're not going to lend on it. But like I said, in mismanaged facilities, it's a gray area, 50 to 75% full. All right. And SBA has typically lent on a mismanaged facility if you can prove that over the course of a certain amount of time, you are leasing that place up and you are creating more and more income, and you can show that it's like over time building income, right? So then SBA is more open to renting, because I do have students that are purchasing properties right now where they are like 60% full, and over the course of the last year they were not full at all, right? And so then they're just being leased up. So in terms of like the student I told you about, that he bought this brand new facility that had no income at all, I mean, essentially what he did is he had to borrow private money, right? He went out and he borrowed private money from one of my investors, one of my lenders, and then they funded it, and they gave him 18 months to lease the property up. And then in 18 months, he can refi it out and with either a bank loan or an SBA loan. So with a mismanaged facility, if it's producing income and it's, in that gray area, you can go to SBA. If it's not producing income, right? If it's a truly mismanaged facility where it's not being managed properly and it's not producing the income that it should be, then you are going to have to find private lenders. That's what I said, right? Private lender. Okay. Okay, so private lenders. And private lenders can be somebody that offers like to just lend you the money. So for instance, like on the one where my student bought this property that was brand new, he bought it for $1 million, and essentially my lender, one of my private lenders, lent him the money for the property. He put $200,000 down, right? So they required 20% down. They gave him a note for 9% interest, and they gave him, $800,000. So it was an $800,000 note at 9% interest for 18 months. All right. So that type of a note gave him enough time to lease the property out and get it all leased up, and then is able to give him enough time to find another lender that will finally loan to him at a regular interest rate after he has got that thing up and running. Okay, so that's what private lenders do. Private lenders are there to lend you money at high interest rates, right? Typically anywhere from 6 to 12%, depending on your experience and the lender themselves and stuff. And this was my student's very first deal, and my lender was actually very generous and gave him 9% interest. Right now, you don't want to hold on to 9% interest forever. Right. And also that loan was an interest only loan. Right. So they're not amortizing that note over 18 months. They were just like, this is an interest only loan. Pay me for 18 months. At the end of the 18 months, you're still going to owe me the $800,000 that I lent to you. Okay. So that is what private lenders do. Typically, they'll lend you the money at a higher interest rate for a shorter amount of time. All right. And private lenders are the perfect type of lender for a mismanaged facility. So everybody knows that I buy mismanaged facilities. So that means that I have to be privately funded.